Thank you so much for your time. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hi.
Congratulations on this movie. This movie is really intense and very interesting. I really liked it. And I would start asking you, this movie is based on something that happened in real life. It's based on documentation that you researched. I wanted to know, when did you realize you wanted to make a movie about this subject?
I mean, actually, instantly. Like it was like we came across this in a podcast where they just very briefly, like a historian, very briefly talked about suicide by proxy, and we instantly that moment knew we wanted to make a film. And that moment was, I think, 10 years ago. So it took a very, very, very long time to get the film going, like to find the right way of telling it, the right structure, to finance it. Also, then there was COVID, so it took very, very long.
And the second moment, so that was the first moment, but then we kind of read all those. I mean, the first moment we only had like a small piece of information. And then we kind of got all these interrogation protocols, and there was one which is the film mainly based on. When we read that, we kind of really cried. We were so, and it haunted us into our dreams, because this woman talking to us about her life, about her sins, about about the society she lived in, about her problems. We felt so close, and it felt so modern, and we kind of could not believe that this is a woman from 300 years ago. And so this was the moment when we emotionally kind of connected, and knew we wanted to kind of, I don't know, to make a film about her story. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, like it's because like we were always scared of doing a film like set in like a period in history, because those usually they distance the audience from what they're seeing. They feel very artificial. It's something that's not connected to our times. And what Veronika just said is like reading like an actual account of somebody who is rarely transmitted to our times, because it was a woman, she was a peasant, nobody was interested in what she had to say, but still how she felt was incredibly modern. And like also doing a period film that doesn't disconnect an audience from the feelings of the lead character, but connects them to those feelings was important to us. And those feelings are like also depression, like mental illness, issues that still are very much taboo themes in our society, I think. I mean, people are talking about this more and more, but still it's a huge issue, and it has been a huge issue back in those days.
Ja, Gott wird Freude haben mit dir, wenn du den Magen essen riechst.
Wegen deiner Mutter.
Was ist mit dir?
Magst mich nicht. Ich fürchte mich tut's.
Yeah, it's true. This movie also feels like the subjects are very current.
Thank you.
Not a lot of things have changed. Do you think we haven't learned from our past, or we have a long road?
I think we know that the road can be like, I think, endless, but we're never
Like a
gonna
roller
learn.
coaster, you goes up
Yeah.
and down and in circles.
And that's for us is also it's shocking, and it's very frustrating how little we learn from history. And like if 2 or 3 generations pass, then I think we've forgotten everything that happened before, and then it repeats itself, and it's shocking. And maybe that's also a reason, like we didn't think about it like that, or we didn't discuss it, but maybe that's also a reason for a film like that, to show something that has been terrible in history, but still feels modern today, to also tell, no, we didn't get away from those times. It's not easy to say, yeah, back then everything was horrible, now it's great. I think it's as horrible, it's different, but it's as horrible as it has been. I mean, the things that Agnes suffers from, she's a perfectionist under a lot of pressure and sort of breaks. I think that's a very modern thing. It's just like the pressure is not mainly, like in Europe at least, mainly not put on people by church, but by, let's say, capitalism, by a society that tells you to work and function all the time perfectly, and if you fail to function and if you fail to be good at your job, then they tell you it's your fault because you didn't aspire high enough, you didn't want to be good enough, so they blame it on you, and that's actually very, very horrifying, I think.
Das ist Cat.
Was denn?
Das hat so schön geknackst.
Agnes.
Hast du dich schon eingewählt? Ja, jetzt schon.
Something else that also I enjoyed a lot about the movie was the places where it was shot, which is this beautiful forest that I think it's a contrast to the horrible things that happen. Yeah. What was it like to shoot in these beautiful locations?
I don't know if you've seen our first fiction film, Good Night Mommy, but it's this very same forest. It's like 10 minutes away from the location we shot like our very first movie in. It's a very interesting area because it's close to the border in Austria to Czech Republic, and there used to be the Iron Curtain, so like the wall which kind of separated the Western from the Eastern world, like in the 80s. So this is kind of a deserted area, and there are lots of kind of farms which are not renovated, or people like isolated areas in a way.
Yeah, people moved away from that area. It's rather poor. So there is not a lot of signs of modern life, which was exactly what we were looking for doing a period film. So for those reasons, it was perfect. And we love how it looks. Shooting was not easy. I mean, especially not for the actors, because like this stone house, it can't be properly heated, and we shot in fall and winter time, so it was as cold inside as it was outside. And of course we could all wear jackets like the crew, but the actors couldn't, so it was really freezing all the time, and the hardest thing was to figure out how they wouldn't get sick every other day. So that was actually, it was a rather, I mean, it was a great shoot, and I think the most fun we ever had shooting a film, but still it was very exhausting and not easy.
And because you mentioned the beauty of the nature, it was also important for us thinking of the main character, because for her, nature, she's very connected to nature, and it's a part where she can be happy or free in a way. So this needed to be kind of, at first, this needed to be like a soul for her. It's like an exterior soul for her, but it also which kind of protects her. But on the other hand, it also, of course, the demons are there too.
I think we wanted to take this beautiful landscape, which only she is able to see, because for every other human being there, it's nothing special. It's just where they live and work, but she sees the beauty in it. But the more serious her illness gets and her depression, I think the film also visually is drained from its colors. Everything feels gray and gets darker. And I think the beauty is turned into something hostile. So I think we wanted the film and the locations to visually also reflect her journey, and without doing it like in post-production or color correction where you just drain everything from colors, by moving into winter time and taking like advantage of nature and how it changes. We wanted to mirror her own descent into
darkness.
Depression or darkness.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Great work.
Oh, thank you.
Gefällt's dir denn?
Das ist schön.
Well, last question. The award season has just ended, and with this season, well, the awards normally don't take seriously the horror genre.
Yes.
They usually put it to a side, still to this day, with a few exceptions. Why do you think the industry still doesn't view horror as a more serious genre?
I have no idea how to answer that, but I think there is some connection, at least like when you like do a film in America, you also always have to do test screenings, and horror films, all horror films, they don't test well. Like people, they enjoy them, they're excited by them, they are maybe scared by them, they think about them, they talk about them, but they think they don't like them. So there is something, I think, about horror making people feel uncomfortable And I think that's nothing, at least Americans feel happy to give out awards for. So I think it's maybe different in different countries, but in the US, I have the feeling the films that at least used to get the awards were always, let's say, dramas, but uplifting in spirit, that make you feel actually enlightened and happier than you had been like after leaving the cinema. And I think that's not the case in our film, and that's something they have a hard time to connect to, or to hand out awards to.
Okay.
Maybe, we don't know.
Thank you so much. Great movie. Congratulations again, and thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you.
course. Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.